right, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. We're going to go from now till 3 p.m. where we're discussing various issues of the nation. Ghana is marking its 65th anniversary. If it's a human being, you know where it will be heading towards, definitely. So if you're a Ghanaian, you want to ask yourself, oh, okay, have we done well? Have we done very good? Have we failed? Are we poor? What are the questions you're asking and what are the answers you are getting? But we'll be getting into that pretty shortly. We're having a conversation with one of Ghana's son who, attempted becoming president of this country. Hassan Ayariga has been very vociferous as far as issues of this nation is concerned. As we mark 65th anniversary, we'd like to have a conversation with him. So he'll be joining me shortly on the platform. But this morning, we had a message from the longest-serving finance minister of the country, Professor Osabutey, delivering his state of the economy. You know, we've been waiting for His Excellency, in Parliament for a while. There's been postponements, and very soon the President will come and tell us. But before he does, Professor Osabutey has done it. What are the things he said? He suggested 4 different things. We'll be having a conversation with Professor John Gatsi as well, on the back of that here on this platform. My name is Annie Efua Ampofo. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back shortly. You're welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana. So I earlier on told you that Professor Osabutey gave us a lecture this morning, and that has to do with the economy. He gave his side of what he has seen and also professed about 4 solutions that Ghana should be doing. He says that it is ideal to pretend that we can address our economic issue without some hardship. So it means that we need to really be prepared to bite the bullet because we are in a very dire situation. But let's have a bit of the video played of what he said.
As we speak, all the signs point to a country in some distress, in some economic distress. The exchange rate at the forex bureaus is nearing 8 cedis to the dollar. Fuel prices at the filling stations have crossed the 8 cedi per liter bar. Inflation is back in double digits, nearing about 15%. The government is struggling to raise money locally and is accumulating arrears to several programs: roads, school feeding, and even LEAP, even salaries. There is ongoing capital flight, and foreign investors have withdrawn close to $200 million in January alone. It is absolutely not the end of the world, not quite. But we are not exactly sitting pretty. And it is not helpful in these circumstances to be told that we've never had it so good. Now, central to the growing economic distress that we face is the fact that we are no longer seen as credit worthy. That our policies are not seen as credible in the eyes of the investor community and of the credit rating agencies. Now, when money is borrowed. Fiscal discipline means that we put our public finances in a position to be able to service our debt while still providing finances for programmed public services.
Professor Osabutey there. So he also professed some 4 solutions that we could use. So let's have it on the slides, and then we can go through. And the first one says that it is ideal to pretend that we can address our economic issues without some hardship. At least, in the short term, there's simply no silver bullets or magical solutions somewhere that can bring lasting relief without some level of pain and sacrifice. The real question is how we distribute this hardship in the equitable or transparent manner. Second one says, as throwing more light on this, he said it is inequitable to have grants of about 1.5 million beneficiaries of LEAP program unpaid for months because you are in crisis. This is not where the hardship hits. The second one says, no, the third one, the real problem with our public finances is a structural and will require a thorough review of all sources of pressure in the budget, including every flag bearership program and its sustainability and impact. All the options must be on the table. We must not, for instance, transition temporary spending incurred during the pandemic into permanent public spending when we're already struggling to collect revenues. We must resist the lure of solutions that will further mortgage the future of young generations to come, such as collateralizing public revenue streams. Above all, we must resist solutions that we delay hard decisions. Please, can you give me the previous one? I like the last sentence. Yes, it says, above all, we must resist solutions that we delay hard decisions. Okay. The country needs to build consensus around reforms that are necessary to resolve the nation's creditworthiness. Professor Osabutey there. So, right. Okay, so those are some solutions that have been professed. I think the one that hit me strongly is, prolonging or postponing, the hard time that we need to go through. If we have to go through hard time, we should go through it now. We're expecting to speak with Professor Gatsi, as and when he joins us, we will. We already have Hassan Ayariga in the studio with us. We're very honored to have him. And I will just quickly tell you that Hassan Ayariga has been a son of this soil and has also tried rising to the top and always trying to contribute to the opinions and the forward movement of the country. The last time I heard about him was a video that trended for a while, and that had to do with the Saglemi housing project. So he actually went there himself, took videos of the Saglemi house. I think after that video, we were not allowed to just be going to Saglemi. So he spots the opportunity for us. Hassan, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing us the honors and joining us. And how are you?
I'm great, and happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence, definitely, definitely. How does it feel like, maybe I'll say, being in opposition and observing what's going on?
Sad. Because when you are in opposition, people say that you have the ideas and you have the vision and the strategies to manage the country. But when you are given power, I'm told, people say that then you mismanage the economy. But I disagree with such kind of ideology and such kind of perception, that when you are in opposition, you have ideas, and when you are in power, you don't seem to know what you are doing.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's when you are in opposition, you tell a lot of lies. And when you are in power, you see the reality of your lies. You now realize that I was a liar, and you cannot. But some of us, when we are in opposition, we see the reality of both, those telling lies and those telling the truth. And when we say Ghanaians to give us the mandate, it's because we know we can transform Ghana better than those who have had the opportunities over the years, till 65 years now, and we are still struggling. The worst of it is that at 65, Ghanaians' kids still go to bed hungry without 3 square meals. That's the worst of it. That after independence, that the Ghanaian child will go to bed, most of Ghanaian children, not even one, many of them, 80% of them will go home, sleep. They might either get breakfast and lunch, or breakfast and dinner, or not breakfast at all and get dinner.
Or sometimes nothing at all.
And sometimes nothing at all. This is where we have gotten to. So what's the freedom for? So opposition, being in opposition is tough, because you see that you can transform the country, you can change the status quo, you can make good use, you can change. We don't actually have economic freedom. What we have is political freedom. We've been lying to ourselves that a black man is capable of managing his own affairs. Which part of the black country has been able to manage themselves so well? Which country in the black communities or in the continent?
We have to go back on those words.
We can go back. I don't really mind. We can go back from Nkrumah till date. I will give you all the answers. Ask all the questions from there. And then you see that even when we celebrate independence, we ridicule ourselves. We come with fantastic speeches that doesn't make sense. And then those who colonize us, funny enough, are sitting beside us, watching us play games, watching us speak big words and big English and big grammar. And yet, we cannot find solutions to 5 basic necessities of life: water, roads, healthcare, accommodation, school. These are the basic necessities of life. As a nation, you should be able to overcome after 10 years, not 65 years. Not 65 years. You should be able to
overcome this after 10 years.
At least after 10 years of independence, you should be able to overcome all these matters. 65 years, you go to villages, there are no roads, no hospitals, no schools.
But the United States have practiced democracy for over 200 years. We are just joining, and they still have similar problems.
Is that an excuse?
No, we're not saying it. It's
Thank
an
you.
excuse. We're just saying that it's not peculiar to us.
No, we are ridiculing outside. That's why. Is the United States better than the leadership of the United States? Should it be better than the leadership of Africa?
No, they're more experienced when it comes to
No, it's not about they are more experienced. They learn every day. They have been sincere and honest, like Professor Boche said. We should be willing to take the hardship to a different level so that we don't mortgage resources meant for the future generation now, for borrowing. We don't do that. We've mortgaged everything that we have, the natural resources for the future generation, and we are now sitting with nothing. Debt. Have you looked at the GDP to our national debt?
In fact, when he mentioned the exchange rate, you said that's peculiar to the currency.
Yes, when he mentioned, and I told him that it depends on the currency. If he's talking about 8, some currencies are over 8.
Over, yeah. Like
so it shouldn't, yes, like the pounds, like the euro, a whole lot of them are over the 8. What have we done differently? Is that the economic freedom? No, it's still slavery. We are not independent. We are only independent in our minds. But naturally, the white man is still managing us. Because everything that we want to do, they dictate to us.
Are we independent in our minds? Because this is our minds that we're using to operate that kind of
when I say we are independent in our
economic
minds,
strategy.
Yes, that's what we believe. We believe we are independent. The white man makes us to think that, okay, you take your freedom, but you still come to me for everything. It's just like you having a child, and the child says, Daddy, I'm 18, I want to go and live on my own. You say, you want to live on your own? Okay, no problem, you go. Go and live on your own. He moves out of your house, he gets an apartment, he can't pay the rent. In the apartment, he can't buy food, he can't pay water bill, he can't pay electricity bill. His children, he can't feed them, he can't send them to school. He has to come back to you for all that. Are you independent? Are you? No.
Did we rush into going into independence?
We did not rush. Those who took us into independence had vision for Ghana. They were focused. They had plans. They planned for a very long time. They had a long-term development plan for us. But when we took over after them, what did we do? Because we didn't have vision. We were eager to take power because we thought they were enjoying power, but not knowing that they were rather building a country for the future generation to enjoy. They were sacrificing themselves. But now, I can ask you, the ordinary Ghanaian make more sacrifices than the leaders in power.
Hold on there. Let me engage Professor Gatsi, who is on via Zoom. He is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School. Prof, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. Did you get a chance to, at least scan through Professor Osabutey's delivery?
Well, listening to part of the delivery.
Right. So let me ask about the mortgage advice that he gave us, that all the revenue streams that we, try to generate revenue from, we should avoid mortgaging them. Why would he call for that? Well, what kind of solution is that? Because sometimes, really, you're talking about development, and we have very capital-intensive programs being undertaken by government currently, and you need certain amounts of money that our revenue streams are not able to provide as much until you probably go in for a loan. So how and why would that be a solution now?
Well, what he's trying to say is that as a country, we shouldn't over-earmark our revenue. When you over-earmark, you mortgage, you collateralize, you securitize your entire revenue basket, what it means is that you are left with nothing to do things within the short to medium term. And countries that practice that kind of economic management scheme actually find themselves in trouble. And we are traveling on that path. Almost all the levies we have been collateralized for bonds. And what it means is that when we collect the revenue, we account for them, but they are actually not available for development purposes. And that creates problems for public financial management. That is the advice he's giving. Especially that advice is very important because it's coming on the back of the revelation by the Roads Minister that the main purpose for the e-levy is to be used to collateralize for more borrowing. So which means that we are only prepared to continue with the cycle of more borrowing, more interest, and its attendant difficulties. We are not interested in breaking the cycle. And I believe that is the advice. In fact, where even our public finances allow for collateralization, you realize that they put some limitation. But these things happen in the natural resource sector, especially when you read the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, it provides that the ABFA, for example, can be used for collateralization, but they give a limit that it cannot run beyond 10 years, and a certain percentage of the amount is only allowed for collateralization. But when we are engaging in the open spree of collateralizing, mortgaging our revenue stream, it creates problems for public financial management. And I believe those who are managing the economy may pay heed to the advice.
But, for example, the Petroleum Management Act, it's a legal instrument. So how do we breach this legality and keep quiet over it and think it's okay? And it means that all these financial acts that we've provided to keep our discipline is not necessarily being put to good use. It's actually useless.
I think the point I'm making is that we can combine his lecture and another lecture that happened recently. Professor Atuba, for example, says that our economic management should be done in such a way that we should provide a legal basis for that. Then today, Professor Osabutey is also talking about the over-earmarking of revenue and the issue of collateralization. All that means is that just as in the petroleum revenue management, there is a legal framework guiding how you can collateralize the ABFA. You cannot collateralize all. There is a limit that you cannot go beyond, and there is a period that you cannot go beyond. So that is where the legality comes in. What is the rule governing collateralization of our revenue stream? Broadly for our revenue and not necessarily for petroleum revenue, which is heavily regulated. So we need to be thinking about that if we are going to collect revenue from a particular area, let's say 10 billion, how much of that 10 billion is allowed for collateralization? And for how long collateralization should be allowed? These are the issues I believe when we put the two lectures together, we should be addressing as a country.
And adding yours, you also gave us, a long write-up with part of it. You said that the economic management during a pandemic has generally been expected to be difficult, but it also came with faster access to funds to manage the economy. This is easy access to available funds to the national and international sources such as the IMF and the World Bank was not available to the economic managers under the NDC when crude oil prices went down to the floor, including gold and cocoa prices. What were we expecting them to have been able to use the funds that we generated within the COVID period that they didn't use for? Well, we're yet to receive the accounts of it, but what were we expecting?
I think what happened during the peak of the COVID was the understanding by the two sides of Parliament,
right,
that the pandemic, we need to have a national approach towards it. So they created or put in place COVID-19 management budget that have been approved. So the issue to be addressed with the funds have been indicated in the budget. Now, the good thing about a budget is that the end result of a budget is an audit. So what the money is supposed to be spent on have been clearly defined by the budget that have been approved. So what is now left to give us confidence that we have utilized those money that came easily? I say easily because when we were having the energy sector crisis, we were to borrow at commercial rates. We had to go to Eurobond market. This $1 billion zero-rated interest from the IMF with a moratorium of 5 years was not available then. So when that is available now, it is only proper that it is utilized within the lines created by the budget, and we should also be ready to freely account for that and provide an audit to establish the transparency, the disclosures and responsibility that go with the management of that money. I believe that is a critical point that I was referring to.
Yeah, and you have also concluded that what is happening now is not merely as a result of the pandemic, but as a result of mismanagement. Yesterday, I'm sure you listened to the president, and he's coming to the table with sort of an effort to get contributions to the economy management so that, we can move from where we are to a better place. Is that something you think is possible?
Well, I don't know whether it resonates with the people, because this is a government that does not believe in the strength, capability of people who are not part of the party. You remember the vice president coming out to say that they have the best of economic management team ever in Ghana. And he was mocking at another political party, which means that they don't believe that the brains to contribute to this country are outside their party. And perhaps that is one of the problems the managers of the economy are facing. They believe in themselves when in reality, very simple thing that they are supposed to focus on, they are not able to focus on those things, and they are affecting us. So I don't know how Ghanaians are taking that appeal, whether it resonates very well with them, whether the lifestyle of the government actually will allow people to believe that what the government is calling for is genuine or not. So I think that you can interrogate or you can question Ghanaians as to whether they believe in the statement made by the president.
Right. Mr. Daniel Osabutey is also joined. Yes.
Because another way of doing what the president said was an economic dialogue, an economic engagement by people across the political divide, business people, intellectuals, and CSO, etc., representing the country and not a particular party, coming out to profile solution as to the way forward. But the president and his team actually didn't give heed to that, and they believe that they have all that it takes to manage the economy. So I think we need to look at the statement by comparing the behavior, the attitude, the utterances regarding every opportunity created for that engagement to be done to profile solution to the management of the economy.
Right. Daniel Osabutey has also joined us. He's a senior lecturer, Faculty of Business, Accra Technical University. Thank you for connecting with us in the studio. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, do you think that it's too late to, gather our homegrown policy or put together a homegrown policy with everyone, even outside the current administration?
Yeah, let me say good afternoon to all viewers of Metro TV. I don't think it is too late. As the president rightly mentioned, I think it is time for us to tap from different sources in terms of economic brains and not just to look at people within your political party. I think we've been calling for this for some time now, that where we've gotten to, it is not for us to politicize the economic outlook, rather to also expand and then include people who have what it takes in also contributing towards the development of this country. And I pray and wish that this is really a genuine call. And I believe that people will be more than willing to assist.
Did you listen to Prof this morning?
No, I didn't get it. No, I was busy somewhere, so I couldn't.
So he has also called for honesty. And I think just this morning, I'm getting a lot of the honesty calls from different experts and analysts as far as the economy is concerned.
Yeah.
Is that what you sense? As an economist,
Yes,
you
you
sense
see,
that there's been some dishonesty?
Yes.
I get the argument about COVID.
Yes.
Hassan is laughing, but I get the argument about COVID.
We have answers for that.
Okay, I'll
Yes, we have to be honest with ourselves. If you look at all the economic indicators, they are not very positive. They are not too good. Okay? You look at inflation, it's going up. You look at the depreciation of the cedi, it is not too appealing. You look at public debt, it is there, unemployment. So all the economic indicators are not favoring the economy. So we have to be honest with ourselves. And I remember years back, the president was very bold to tell the then president, John Mahama, that they should be ready to accept blame for how the economy fared then. And I think that we are not here to be apportioning blames, but where it has gotten to, I don't think you have to tell an ordinary Ghanaian that things are not too good. We can all feel it. You go to the market, we go to the same market, okay? We have prices going up here and there. So nobody should tell you that things are not going on well. And we have to be honest with ourselves and face it. That is it.
Professor Osabutey said we should be ready to bite the bullets.
Yes.
Face the pain.
Yes.
Go through, stop postponing the period when we have to sacrifice our sacrifices and deal with it now.
Yes.
So if we're dealing with it now, he's suggested LEAP, for example, should be a program that should be on hold because we are in crisis. I've never heard the officials of this government say we're in crisis.
Yeah.
But Professor Osabutey says we're in crisis. And I want to take that because he's the longest serving finance minister. I want to go by his definition of what crisis is. So those suggestions, do you think that it's worth listening to?
Yes, it's worth listening to. You see, one thing about this economy is the credit rating that we have currently. To say that you are CAA, it means that you are a high-risk economy.
You know what's interesting?
We're not CA, we're now C.
We're now C, yeah.
C, right.
You know what's interesting? When the ratings came out, I think we weren't accepting it.
We're now C.
We're challenging it.
Oh, wow, right.
And then recently the finance minister said it in Volta region. I said, we accept now.
So it tells you that, look, people are not really interested in investing in the economy. because you're a high-risk country. And anytime you go to the international market to raise bonds, it means that you should be prepared to pay a very high coupon, very high interest rate, at least for people to know that taking such a high risk, there should be that compensation. Because, I mean, high risk comes with high interest rate. So that is something that we cannot run away from. So I'll say that we have to be honest with ourselves and take decisions bipartisan. You know, we shouldn't take decisions trying to protect our political interests. Where it has gotten to, we shouldn't bring in politics in taking some of these economic decisions.
Hassan,
Yes.
your smile is about almost every question I asked. You were smiling, so address all of that.
Welcome, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
You know, grading us at C means that we can't even pay our debt. That means that when we borrow, nobody is willing to even give us money when they downgrade you to C.
That's what practically it means.
It means that you can't pay. So nobody is willing to give you money. Nobody is willing to borrow you money. So this is the state of our economy. And that's the truth of the state of the economy. Now, if I hear Professor Boche say that we need to be honest and sincere, I mean, Professor Boche has had opportunity to rule this country. Were they also sincere and honest to the Ghanaian people? Because
when he was in office?
Yes, when they were in office. The accumulation of the suffering of Ghanaians did not start from one particular government. It started from government upon government. That they have failed, both political parties have failed us continuously to where we are. So if he's also saying that we should scrap leave, I think it's not right. I don't buy into that.
I felt that that was extreme.
No, I don't buy in that, because the people who are enjoying leaves are the very people who are beneficiary to the little things they are unable to get. We call them unemployment benefits.
So there are issues
So we
like
should rather strengthen it.
The president is flying with private jets. There's one issue when I mentioned, people think
I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
I'm just looking at the ostentation in government and how the little...
The
poorest
ordinary
of
one
the
are getting,
poor
and you say
are
they should scrap it because we are in crisis. We've been in crisis since long time immemorial. The crisis didn't start. I've been writing articles about Ghana is in crisis, Ghana is in crisis. It's not today. So if the president talking about an all-inclusive governance system, I've been talking about it almost every day. That is what we need. We don't need the partisanship of political leadership at this time. That when you are president, even the economic management team should involve, like Prof was saying, to involve a lot of different political parties and even technocrats too, and the academia to be involved in it. So that we sit as a nation on a round table, identify the solutions and the problems, and then we take it head on. Because the seat is not for one person. You sit 8 years, no matter how strong and how corrupt you are, you'll be there only for 8 years. You can be as corrupt as whatever. After 8 years, you vacate the seat. Another person will come and take over. But what have you done for the people of Ghana to say that in your tenure, you were able to do A, B, C, D? We've borrowing. We've mortgaged everything meant for the next generation. We cannot borrow anymore. Talking about e-levy, what is e-levy going to do for us? Even if we decide to say that, okay, let's go ahead and pass the e-levy. The e-levy is only meant to go and borrow.
Yeah, but that will help to a certain extent.
But can we still pay? If we've borrowed 340 billion and it did not amount to any kind of development, you are supposed to be borrowing and paying. All government institutions in this country cannot pay their workers. Are you aware of that? What is the problem? Yeah. Because we have so many ghost names.
Even to the independence celebration yesterday, we couldn't.
We have so many ghost names. We have so much corruption. You cannot put Metro TV down and then the owner of Metro TV should be getting money from another company to come and pay Metro TV. Then you should close down Metro TV. This is what is happening to our institutions. All our institutions, government must borrow money to pay. Are we serious as a nation? What is the problem? So all these problems we are talking about, we know, but we refuse to know. We sit and assume that, after 8 years, another party will come and take over and inherit all the difficulties, and we will come back. We are architects of corruption. That we know how to do. Architect.
Maybe we're just finding it difficult.
And we are not punishing. And because we are not
wrongdoing.
Yes, people get away with it. And that is why I said, when I become president, some will go to hell for others to go to heaven. It will happen. You will not escape, no matter who you are.
The next interview will be a one-on-one so that we can get the details. Today is the economy. Today is the economy. But yes, Mr. Osabutey, we'll go
Yes,
for a
my
break
sister.
quickly. I just want you to respond to this. Why are we, and I can't wrap my mind around it, why we are always borrowing to service debt instead of, borrowing and let what we have borrowed pay for itself, because we need to invest that the money can recycle itself and pay for what we have borrowed. What is the difficulty? Is it because I'm not an economist?
No, my sister,
I don't
you
understand.
see, the fact is that sometimes we tend to allow political expediency to override certain decisions that have to be taken, okay? Borrowing per se is not bad.
Yes.
But what do you use the money for? Because you expect that having gone in for the loan, you should be able to invest the loan for the loan to pay itself. I mean, you talk about repayment. But here we have a case where you go in for loans and there is no visible signs of things that have been done with that loan. Okay? So you ask yourself, how do we go in for a loan and probably spend it on recurrent expenditure?
Yeah.
How will we be able to pay such a loan? And as we speak, we are spending close to about 50% of our revenue in servicing debt. So we don't have anything left.
Oh, it's
to
more
even
than
run it.
50%.
More than 50%
Yeah.
in servicing debt. So it tells you that even though
We are
we are
even borrowing
interested
to
in-
service debt. Let me add that to you.
Yes.
We are borrowing to service debt.
and
So
that
if
is,
you,
and that
let
is,
me add
that is
to
very
it.
dangerous. I mean,
Yes.
how do you borrow to service debt?
Yes.
It means that you are marking time. Okay? So you borrow in order to invest, so that out of the investment, you'll be able to raise enough to
pay.
repay.
What is the difficulty?
I know, I told you.
Why
I
are we
mean,
not borrowing to invest?
You see, my sister, as we speak, okay, do we know where government is getting finances in supporting the free SHS? I don't know. Maybe you need to tell me. And this question has been asked several times. Okay,
The oil revenue.
but I don't think that is enough. It means
Actually,
that-
it's not supposed to be so because the oil revenue is not for funding free SHS.
Thank you very much. So it means that if we are bold enough, and let me also refer to what Professor Butchie said, that if we are honest, then we should be able to tell the people in the face the whole truth.
That we have failed.
I will not add that.
That we have failed.
You see, but LEAP, let me also say something about the LEAP. I wouldn't subscribe to scrapping of LEAP. Okay,
Putting it on hold.
I'll rather suggest that we should realign it. You see, this is a poor program, but the way it is being managed, are we meeting the target group? And that is what we have to look at. If you are saying that we need to support those who need help, and at the end of the day, we don't support them, then the whole LEAP program becomes a mirage. So I'll rather suggest that we should realign and then identify those who really need the support, not to, support party members, not to support people who think that to support us
We do
in
proper
future.
targeting.
Yeah, we need to really target those who need the support. And to say that we should put it on hold, no, I wouldn't subscribe
I
to
mean,
that.
for all you know, we probably are not supporting him because we think that LEAP is supposed to be for the poorest, the poor.
Loop, you finish with him.
But
I'll tell you.
maybe he's also picking up information that suggests that, you know what, just hold on with this program because we don't, I'm talking about Professor Osabutey.
You know what? This leap thing they're talking about, if they really want to do it properly, there's a lot of ghost names in there.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Even in our ministries. Why do you think I'm talking about corruption? Too many ghost names in every ministry, including LEAP. How many people are on the LEAP payroll? Check and see. And you will see that some of these monies are going to individual politicians who call themselves managers of this country. And that's why the people are, look, I am somebody who naturally over the years have been paid LEAP to a lot of people. When you are growing up as a Northerner, what we do is to support each other. It's like LEAP. I support you when you cannot take care of your family every month. I give you money for your parents, pay your students' school. It's a form of LEAP. We do among ourselves, help each other. When one is better than all of us, the person help. We grow. It's a form of LEAP. What are we doing? Are we paying LEAP and finding jobs for the people we are paying? Because LEAP is supposed to be structured in the sense that we give you support, And after some time, we engage you,
We have to
give you
even
job,
monitor.
to move you out of leave,
Yeah.
so that you get benefit. And you can, so that those who are in the next group, we bring them forward and continue. Tell me how many leave beneficiaries have been integrated into the system to become normal workers.
Let that question hang. You're watching the very brief, crisp, good afternoon, Ghana, hot issues right now on the table. We'll take a break very shortly. Welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Professor Gatsi is still with us, via Zoom. Let's take his final words before I come to my men in the studio. Hello, Prof. Thank you for your time. What would be your last recommendation that we should do? I think almost all the economic analysts and experts are giving their opinion. From you, I've seen your statement, but what would, in about, some sentence, what would you say the government should do now? Because I think it's in a critical, we are in a critical situation.
Well, I think this is a time we need greater humility, openness to the people, admitting where you need to admit, and then open the channel for others to contribute. But I believe the environment must be created by the government. You listen to the president, the same speech that he was talking about others to support to fix the country, in the same forum that we were told that the post-COVID growth of the economy is better than the NDC era. So when you begin to do that, the opportunity for others across the divide to come in and support, because mind you, those who are in opposition, whether they are small or not, there are ideas that people appreciated about their manifesto and what they wanted to do, except that they were not given the chance. Those ideas are still active. This is the opportunity to open the conduit through which they can come on board and provide a united plan to address the ills of the economy. But when you bring your desire for people to come and support, and at the same time, you begin to prove that you are superior to them, then the environment for that engagement is actually not there. And the government ought to work on that seriously. I also heard you talk about the recommendation to suspend LEAP. I believe LEAP is supposed to be a social intervention because those group of people engaged or participating in the LEAP are supposed to be vulnerable, and we are enjoined by Chapter 6 of our Constitution to provide space for those people to also have some respite. So it is very difficult without data to accept that LEAP is one of the things to be suspended at this critical period. Especially the World Bank report indicated that many countries have moved from lower poverty level to deeper poverty level as a result of COVID-19. And what that means and what we are experiencing in the country shows that many people have moved into poverty as a result of the displacement by COVID-19 in terms of job losses and low performance of businesses, etc. So I believe recommending that we suspend LEAP at this moment is problematic. It does not sit well with the social orientation of Article 36 to accommodate the needs of these vulnerable people of our country.
Right.
Then the final thing that I want to put on board is that anybody who is borrowing on commercial basis, it is trite knowledge that those borrowings should be accommodated by a sinking fund. But we are actually borrowing without any buffer to manage the borrowing. The only sinking fund that we had, which helped us to retire the $750 million first Eurobond issue in 2007, was paid in April 2017. And thereafter, we are not servicing the sinking fund. So an economy should run on a buffer such as sinking fund to manage some of the debt, and that we are not doing. And I believe those are fragile situations, unacceptable debt management processes that the government has engaged in that should be corrected so that we come back on the path of proper sustainable debt management agenda.
Right, right. Prof, thank you. Let me come into the studio. Your last word will be, which area do you think government should sacrifice?
I'll ask government to sacrifice the benefits that most of these Article 71 office holders are also enjoying. Because if we are asking ourselves to tighten the belt, then we should see servant leadership right from the top. But where government is still using what has already been approved, and people are looking forward to seeing improvement in their livelihood, then of course we expect them to live by example. So at the top there,
for example, driving to the fuel station to take fuel for free.
Yes, we have to look at it. And then there are certain allowances, okay, that they have to take a second look at. Because we all agree that we are in a serious situation,
Allowances
crisis.
For house boy and house girl.
Yes, house boy,
like
house girl, garden boy, you know, a tall list of allowances that are being paid.
I'm sorry, I'm drawing you into unnecessary controversy.
So they need to look at it very well. And then, as Prof rightly mentioned, I'll also recommend that we should always have buffer, okay? Because once there is that buffer, there is sinking fund. I mean, when it comes to repayment of debt, you're already preparing yourself to meet such obligations, okay? So you didn't sit for it to hit at you in the face before you run around to look for money to pay. If you do that, that will increase the crisis, okay? So going forward, I think that we need to look at it. And then the roundtable discussion, very, very important.
For homegrown policies.
For homegrown policies. And if you're not careful with this Russian-Ukrainian crisis, if you are not very careful, we get to the filling stations and the price of oil, petroleum products, we cannot bear it. Right. So we need to really put our house in order.
I said I bought fuel 300 cedis yesterday. I was saying it this morning on Good Morning Ghana. I couldn't move.
Yeah, I was telling someone that these days when you get to the filling station, don't just look at the amount that you are buying. Compute it in gallons.
Yes.
Yes. So you are buying 10 gallons, you are talking about 350 plus. Yeah, so that is it.
Well, let me come to Hassan to have his last words, please.
Okay.
You also have an area we have to sacrifice?
A lot. Corruption. That's number one.
Well, corruption.
Number
corruption,
two, hold on.
We don't have a choice on corruption.
Not that you. I'm coming. I'm just going to give you a rundown of what when I say corruption. Mismanagement of the economy. That's what they are doing. I mean, why will even government buy cars and Land Cruisers for workers when they are being paid salary? We should cut off giving Land Cruisers and vehicles to government workers. And all ministers, every minister should buy his car. All the ministries shouldn't have cars. We should cut down on that. Because when we cut down on that, we cut down on fuel automatically given to government vehicles. Very important. And we cut down on costs because huge sums of money goes to vehicles. Yesterday at the Independence Cape Coast, when I came out, I thought we were selling Land Cruisers. I thought it was a show
Oh my
of
gosh.
Seriously. All the cars. I mean, I've never seen so many Land Cruisers in my life like that before.
It doesn't happen in the private sector.
No, it doesn't even happen in other countries that we go to borrow. When you go to the US, people don't have so many cars. Everybody has his car. When you live, you buy your own car, you pay your own rent. Why are we giving houses to ministers and every deputy minister? Why are we doing that? They are ordinary workers like us. They are paying. We should pay them equally. We should pay them the amount of money they should use and pay for their rent. Pay for their house workers.
But maybe you
pay
can
for
answer
fuel.
that. You are
I'm
a
coming. When they
politician.
pay that, they will get to know the kind of suffering the ordinary Ghanaian is going through. Because they don't feel it when they are in government.
Yeah.
You pay for your house, you pay for your car, you pay for your house girl and house boy. They get all that free. So when they are picking policy, they are not even considering all that. When they are out of government, that's when they have common sense. When they are in government, that common sense ideology is gone. So you see, there are a lot of things that we can do. It's not about NDC, it's not about MPP. We have to sit on the round table and fight. I remember when President Nanado became president. He said he was in a hurry to turn Ghana around. You remember? President Akufo-Addo.
Oh, yeah.
He said he was in a hurry. Today, He's left that way. He said we should all come on board. It's good. We are on board. But make it in a way that our contributions is important. Don't come and say it on TV, and then behind the scene, you're doing something else. Because I am willing to support any government to make Ghana a better place. That's the reason why I'm running for presidency, not for anything. If Ghana is good, I'm fine. I'll go home and relax and be proud. Hit my chest. When I'm traveling to America, they respect me as a Ghanaian because our economy is booming.
Yeah.
When you travel and they look at your passport, Ghana, somebody will ask you, which country is that? But that is where they take our gold and our diamond and our boxer, but they don't remember us.
So that's the man who was running or is still running on the ticket of the All People's Party, Hassan Ayariga. And I also had Professor John Gatsi, who is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School. Also, Daniel Osabutey joined me in the studio. He's Senior Lecturer, Faculty of Business, Accra Technical University. We'll do this again because I think the economy has been the center which cannot hold. Thank you for watching. My name is Annie Ofampofo.